Thanks for joining us this week for another episode of Expressions the Podcast. This week we're speaking with Craig Humphreys from Highworth Paving Services from the UK. Craig, thank you so much for being here this week. I know I've already thanked you a second ago, but officially, while recording, appreciate you, man. I saw the work that you did with your paving and all the things that you do with the driveways and patios, and I reached out to you because I'm a believer that creativity comes from everywhere. And sometimes people don't even realize how creative they could be. When I reached out to you, I was excited that you said yes, because I think that paving takes a real skill. Aurora and I were just talking about it before you came in. The creativity needed to choose the patterns and the textures and the types of stone and lay it out in a way that's appealing and makes sense. I don't know if everybody's tried doing this. I just have simple, bricks out in my back, and I spent 4 days just trying to get it level and straight. And that's not even putting a pattern in it. So there's some respect here for the work you do. And when I reached out and you replied to me, something you said kind of hit. So I'm gonna repeat it here. So what you answered back was, sorry about my answers. I'm probably not as creative as most of your guests, but I'll do my best. And I disagree. And here's why. First of all, as the things I've just mentioned, choosing the patterns and choosing the stone and all that, to me, is baffling. But it's not just that. It's the conversations you're having with the clients. It's your ability to hear what they want and change and do what you need to do to make it fit what they want. It's all the meandering through the situations that you do on a daily basis that shows the true creativity. It may not be drawing art. It may not be painting, a Picasso in some people's eyes, but ultimately it's all about creativity. And I think you've got it in spades. So thank you again for being here. I'm going to shut up for a quick second. I'm going to say hi to Aurora and let Aurora say hi. And then we're going to get into talking with you, Craig, and getting a little bit more detailed about what you do. So Aurora, hello, how are you?
Hi, I'm doing good. I've been a little busy the past few days. It was, I guess in real time, not the recording time, but it was Father's Day a couple days ago, so I had to arrange a little meetup with my dad, and I had to do that before work, and then after work I had something, so it's been a long couple days, but it was really nice to see my dad, and I want to wish Craig a happy Father's Day, because I understand that you're a father too, so very happy Father's Day to you. Essentially, after this, I have a photo shoot to do, so I'm doing some maternity photos. I'm pretty excited about that. But just as Brian was saying earlier, I'm super excited to get into this conversation because this is something actually my grandfather attempted years ago when I was, I don't know, maybe 10 or something like that at his house. He had a basic, plain, asphalt driveway, and he didn't like the look of it. He had a beautiful garden, and he wanted to accent that with a brick driveway. It was very simple, nothing patterned or anything like that, but I remember that being such a long, grueling process to really make things look nice, and he didn't even have a fancy pattern or anything. So I looked at your work when he first said that you'd be a guest, and I was so excited I had to be on. We haven't had someone like you on yet, so super excited to get in the conversation. So
someone
thanks.
Like you.
Yeah.
So Craig, let's hear from you, sir. How have you been? How's work going for you these days? How's life treating you? And then we'll get more detailed.
Yeah, first of all, it's great to be here. I'm excited, but I'm a bit nervous. I haven't really done anything like this before. Work's great. It is my full-time job now. So, I wasn't always creative at the paving. It's just something you pick up with experience. Like I said, and if you do a great job, that's why we're always in work. And we've built a great reputation in the local community, and I don't have to travel very far. But yeah, I'm all good. And the work keeps coming in, and it's probably too much for me to handle. I have to turn customers away now.
That's not a bad problem to have.
Yeah.
That's what everybody's hoping for sure.
Definitely.
So
definitely.
where do you draw from? Like, who is the standard customer that would give you a call and say, "Hey, we need your services"? Is it the general person homeowner, or do you do more commercial work?
Well, I started out as commercial work. You want me to start from the beginning, or but nowadays it's all private work. So I went this when I was about 35 into the private side of things. But when I left school in 1987, I was I went with my uncle for a bit in a small building, and then 18 I joined a big paving firm, and we travelled the whole of the UK, staying away, and we did like commercial projects like dockyards, petrol stations or gas stations, big industrial estates. Um, and I stayed doing that till I was about 26, and I was basically working for people all the time. And then there was a recession, and I had to actually go into like a Honda car plant, which is just down the road here in Swindon. I went in there for nearly 10 years, but I kept my paving side going part time. And then I came out of there and just advertised in the local magazines, and I went from there.
So you started from scratch. You didn't inherit a business from somebody. You knew what you wanted to do, and you said, "Let's take this path."
Yeah, I mean, I had 3 kids. It was my wife didn't work, so it was about money, and I went into the Honda plant, and I also started up a paving firm, and I did that at weekends, and when I was on shift work, I did it after shift, and it just got bigger and bigger, and in the end, I was able to leave the car plant and go back on to what I wanted to do.
Nice, nice.
Amazing.
Is it fair to say you love your job?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I to retirement. Don't get me wrong. I've got my son with me now, so I'm trying to train him up, and he's doing really well. Hopefully, one day he might take it over, but he's not too sure yet. But yeah, I do like the work. Yeah, like you said, you can be creative. You're working with your hands, and that's why I didn't really like it in the Honda car plant. I felt that I was letting myself down. There's more to life. I got to do more, and I enjoy being my own boss as well.
Nice. Yeah, that's a huge plus. Aurora's my boss, actually. Truly, we both work selling cameras, and she's the manager of my store. So
Yeah.
I'll be good.
No, but it's awesome sometimes when like you can kind of work freely on your own and be your own boss. Like even myself, like I'm the manager of the store that Brian works at, but I have a regional manager, and that regional manager has a manager above, and so on and so forth, all the way up to the CEO. So they're doing stuff on the side, like my photography, and Brian his workshops and stuff like that. It's really nice when you can create something on your own from scratch, and build something out of it, build a community of people who love your work and love what you do. So that's very incredible.
Especially when you can see it. Like you said, one of your proud moments is when you see people sharing things on social media. They're proud of the work you've done. I'm kind of gonna be a bit of a stupid Canadian here for a quick second. I saw one of the reviews that somebody gave you, and they said, "Brilliant, quick, and very professional. Craig knows his stuff, and now because of his skills, we are the envy of our neighbors. Our driveway has a 10-year guarantee and has added thousands of pounds to the value of our home. Great job." Of course, stupid Canadian I hear has added thousands of pounds, and I'm thinking, of course it has. You did stonework. I mean, there's tons of stone everywhere, and it's very heavy. But of course, I'm sorry, I'm stupid Canadian. But it's true though. I mean, the work you do isn't just appealing; it adds value to people's homes. So,
Yeah.
is that something that you consider when you're designing the patterns and all this stuff when you're working with your client? How does that work actually? First, when you're working with your client, how's that relationship go? Do they call you and then you show up and you have a look at the landscape?
Yeah, they call me, and some of them I don't know. Some is on my reputation, and I've been recommended to them. And some know what they want, some don't. And sometimes I like the ones that don't know what they want. I say, "Look, do you want like patterns?" And some will say, "No, we just want it plain." But I enjoy it when they do give me a free rein. But you have got to be careful with the creativity, because there's a certain amount, you're not going to get a customer is not going to pay for everything. They might want to keep it a bit lower budget. But I tend to do these patterns for nothing anyway, because what it does, people that drive past see that driveway, and because you've put that pattern in it, they think, oh wow, look at that, and you will get so much work out of that you'll never be out of work. So I just do that for nothing, these patterns.
So
there's a thin line between actually doing too much and losing money.
that's what I was just going to ask you. You say you do it for nothing. I'm going to pull up a page here. Here we are. And I'm going to just talk about some of these patterns that we're like. This is a very kind of a plainer design, but you've still got a border on the edge. Yeah. But we get to something like, let's say this one here.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, that's incredible.
I'm not a designer, but I watch a lot of designing shows, and the herringbone pattern, that's a herringbone, right?
Yeah, it's herringbone, yeah.
So to combine that with the border that you have, you've got different types of stone and you've got different patterns. That doesn't cost somebody extra.
No, I actually, that was one of my first ones I did in this pattern. I sort of measure the drive and I charge on a square meter rate, and I didn't charge any extra for that. But it's worth it, because obviously you've seen my videos that have gone viral since, and I've only been on sort of TikTok on that. My daughter showed me at the start of sort of the lockdown, and it's just gone mad. So,
TikTok, eh?
Yeah, it's just all my social medias. I've been shared around on a few big Facebook groups, and it's been amazing. And that's just through doing silly things like that. But so in a way, you do get paid for it, because it sort of made me social.
I get that. Yeah. I shoot professional wrestling, and I only shoot for 2 people really, and I do it for, I guess you could say, free. But there's so many other benefits that come along with it. Like you're saying, sometimes just putting something in front of somebody's eyes that matter makes a huge difference. It makes a huge difference to your long-term income. It's not just about, pay me right now. It's about thinking the long term. Yeah, love it.
Yeah.
I mean, there is a guy that I don't know. I know him from social media, and his work is fantastic. Really, really good work. But he has actually gone broke, where he can't help but doing too much creativity, and it's taken him so long that he's just not made any money, and it's costing him money. He just can't help himself. But
that's
work.
Yeah.
In Dubai or somewhere, I said there is a market for it, but I don't think landscaping in the UK, there's a certain amount they will pay for it. Get what I mean? But there is definitely a market for this guy, what he do, and the creativity he shows. But he just broke himself, where he's taken too long to do jobs.
Yeah, that's a real fine line, I think, in a lot of art in general. If you see it more as art and you put your heart and soul into it, then it's not about the time it takes, it's about the end product. And I mean, we're going to talk about the challenge that you would do later. But obviously striving for being as perfect as you can is important, especially to people who are proud of their work. So yeah, there's a real fine line there. I mean, pretty much with anything, even if Aurora were to go do her maternity shoot later and overthink things and just, overcomplicate things and take a drawn out period of time to travel there, to travel back, and the time it takes to do it, your overall dollar per minute or hour definitely takes a tank, and time is money. So how do you balance that? Like, obviously you want to have something that looks appealing and so on. Do you have certain little techniques that you've learned over time that speed things up, or?
Well, yeah, that's what I sort of pride myself on as well, because I came from, I'm 51 now. I've been block paving since I was 18. And I'll go back when I started, and it was in the commercial world. I was labouring for someone, but you would get paid for how much you did. The quality wasn't very good, but you learned all the tricks of how to be quick. And now I sort of combine the two. I've also got some great tools that, a lot of people say, oh, I can't afford that, but you've got to have the proper tools, and they pay for themselves. And it helps me. It helps me quick, and I've trained my boy up, and we work as a really good team. We always know what, there's always something to do. That's what my old boss used to tell me, and he's getting that into him now. So there's always something to do, and we work efficiently.
I love
awesome.
And right now, I have done well financially, but it's been hard work. It's hard work physically, and it's hard work mentally. With all the paperwork and
because the physical work is only part of it.
Yeah.
Of any business, to keep anything going, it's 24/7. Your mind's always going. You're always trying to, did I forget this? Do I have to do this? What's tomorrow? Yeah. So it's good on you. Good on you for doing well at it. I mean, I'm the same age. I'm turning 51 in like 9 days or 6 days or something. And, you have a lot of experience at this point in our lives. We've done a lot of bullshit stuff, and, we've gotten paid nothing to do it. Maybe in different careers. It's shocking to me, actually, Aurora. It's shocking to me how similar it is with what Craig's talking about and what we would do day in and day out. Aside from the physical labor part of it. So obviously you're probably much beefier than me, but but it's so similar, don't you think, Aurora?
Yeah. So I was actually just thinking, like, when he was saying that, it's, the work that you do is only a very small part of the aspect of the business, right? You lay out the driveway, you lay out the brick. For us, it's, shooting pictures, but behind the scenes, like, there's so much more that you have to do to get yourself to the point where you're even having a customer. There was this post that I saw a little while ago, is the amount of work you see versus the amount of work you do. And it's a picture of an iceberg, and it's just the tip at the top showing what you see and what it is you actually do behind the scenes. And I think that really speaks to what Craig was just saying there.
For sure.
Because there's a lot of stuff in the back end, the planning, the preparing, the talking to clients, the answering questions, the back and forth, and, working with vendors, I'm sure, is another big part of your job. And it's only a small amount of work actually gets seen by the client. It's definitely a hard one to play at, for sure.
And the cost of the gear, right? Like, we have stupid expensive cameras that if you're going to take it to that next level, you kind of have to have. And you've got those stupid expensive tools that you have to get the job done in an efficient way too, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I did, like I said, I was 35, coming up to 40, where I really got myself going. But I think, in a way, in my early 20s, if I would have started up my own business then, I would have probably failed by probably rushing and making too many mistakes. So I think, in a way, I've been successful because I started up later and I was a bit more mature, and I'd learned a lot by then. I mean, I've got a lot of respect for a lot of young lads who do start their own business. Just for me, it wouldn't have been right. And it's the same for my lad who works for me, George. He's 26, but he doesn't really want to take the reins yet, but I'm hoping he'll grow into it a bit like I did. So yeah, experience helped me a lot.
Yeah, for sure. It gives you confidence. It gives you, you can be more assured in your decisions, right?
Definitely.
Really. Yeah. Well, I'm stoked for you. I think it's awesome, the work you've done, and the fact that you're at that stage and you've survived it, because I know a lot of people in that line of work are lame in many ways from injuries and so on. I'm sure you've had your own. Since we're going there, what kind of injuries do you guys run into on a daily?
Well, obviously, I don't know if you've read all the comments on my TikTok, and the most common comment is, my back hurts just by watching. I must have comment over times. I mean, I have had a bad back, and sometimes I wake up and a bad back, but it's when I go on holiday and lie on a sunbed, that's when my back goes.
You got to keep it going.
I'm better, but obviously, I haven't been too bad. I mean, like you said, you don't have to go to the gym. It's your back mainly, because I am bent over and just got to go a bit careful. But
lift right.
See how it goes. I'm still going. I'm 51. I mean, the guy I used to work for, Howard, he's 66 now, and he's had a couple of back operations, the same job as me. trained me when I was a young lad. He's had a couple of back operations, but he's still doing this line of work.
Wow.
I guess you rely more on the tools to do the lifting and stuff like that, but
Well,
no, no, he still does.
Well, going back to our sort of technique that we use and we was brought up using, it's not great because you're sort of bent over laying the blocks, but that's what gives you the speed to get the jobs done in time to make a profit. I mean, some people are crawling around on their knees. It's just, I can't do it like that. It's just too slow. It's just not the way I was taught. So the way I was taught is not great for your back, but I think your back sort of gets used to it. I suppose you build your muscles in the job that you do.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Definitely.
Aurora, you mentioned earlier about vendors, dealing with vendors. That's something I wanted to kind of talk about. I find it interesting. I mean, I watch a lot of home and garden TV and that kind of stuff. That's pretty much the only thing I keep on. I love like digging up gold shows and, you know, all that kind of stuff. Playing in the dirt. I just love it. The jade shows where, you know, they're digging the jade out of the ground and so on and so forth. Do you talk to those people directly? Like, how do you get your supplies? Do you have just like a store you go to that sells stone and pick it up from there? Like we have a Lowe's or a Home Depot.
Well, funny you say that, because the way I do it has changed since COVID. So, I mean, when we got locked down in 2020, I've got accounts with all the local builders. A lot of them shut and didn't open again. So what I did, I got a bigger shed in my garden, and I buy stuff online. I get a couple of pallets and I store it in my own little yard now. I work for like a big stone company, Bradstone, and they're massive. One of the top paid, and I'm what assured. So they actually guarantee all my work as well. And I ring them up direct and they send the product straight out to my jobs.
That's awesome. That's the way it should go. You know, less dealing with all that mess. You get to actually, it's funny you even say that, because I run a business called Day Tripper Photo. I teach photography, as Aurora mentioned earlier. I'm actually discontinuing planning annual workshops, like a whole season of workshops this year. At the end of this year, it's my first time in 14 years that I'm not going to plan, you know, a whole season's worth of workshops, because you just can't rely on anybody anymore.
No, it is. The way I'm doing it now can be quite stressful, because I'm booked up for the next 4 months and I've ordered all my material for every week. So like Monday coming, I've got a delivery of block paving to do a driveway, and you have got to be on time. You can't just have them blocks turn up and you've been delayed on another job. And I've got every week all the way through for 4 months, I've got a different delivery coming to a different address. So I've put myself under pressure, but yeah, it's sort of the only way I can do it at the moment.
I bet for sure. I mean, there's shortages in every avenue, I'm sure too, that you must run into.
Well, yeah, that's why I'm ordering. I've totally changed what I do. I'm ordering 4 months in advance. But the thing with that is they're coming from the other side of the country, and I can't sort of ring up and say, can I delay them? Because it's already booked in. But it's working at the moment.
Well, good luck. I hope it keeps on going. I mean, like we just said, this day and age, everything, you got to have contingencies and workarounds. And that's part of the creativity though, isn't it?
Definitely. Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. Well, I'm so stoked that you're able to do what you love to do. I know it's back-breaking work, but the work shows. I mean, it's beautiful work that you do. There's so many other things we could talk about. One of the things I want to talk about, I want to get into this now. We've talked about the back-breaking stuff. We've talked about the trials and tribulations and your learning curve. But TikTok, come on, where does that come from? Aurora, yeah. Okay, go ahead, Aurora. You talk on this one.
Yeah, because TikTok is a big part of how a lot of businesses are growing right now. And not only does TikTok play a big part in, you know, growing businesses, and as you said, you got a little viral there with some of the videos on TikTok, and that's really brought your business to the next level. There's also a creativity to TikTok in that there's trends. So if you jump onto a trend and you make a video on a trend, then that could get viral, and so on and so forth. But if you do something creative and different than other people, that stops the scroll on TikTok. It has such a interesting algorithm, and I'd love to hear a little bit more about like your postings on TikTok and how that I guess in turn impacted your business.
Well, it was start of lockdown, and my daughter told me about TikTok, and she wanted me to take some videos at work. Oh, can I just congratulate my daughter? Actually, she got married Saturday, so I'd just like to congratulate millions.
Congratulations, that's awesome.
Congratulations.
Right, yeah. Well, she got me into TikTok, and she got me to take a load of videos. I didn't have a TikTok account, so I sent her a load of videos, and she made her first TikTok, and it didn't go viral, but it was her best one. So I thought, I'll have a go at this, and within a few weeks, I'd had thousands and thousands of views, and it just went from there. But a lot of my videos are not things that people haven't seen, and little gimmicks, like you said, about how to do things quicker. I get a lot of people private messaging me and asking me other questions about my techniques, because I do it some things a little bit different than most people. You'll get the people that say it's wrong, it's right, but like I always like to learn. I always use TikTok social media. Every day's a school day. I'm still learning, and people do things differently, but you just got to find the one that's best suiting you. A lot of my techniques are totally different, but I've had people message me, and now they're doing it my way, which is great. And they've told me it's really been a game changer for them, some of the stuff they've learned off me, which makes you so proud,
Yeah, I do know that. I do know what it's like to be able to influence people in a positive way. And it's my favorite thing of what I do by far is, leaving a wake where people are learning and growing from what you're able to share. I'm sharing here your TikTok page. I just pulled it up. So do you do all the recording yourself? Like, explain the process. Cause I know just doing a video takes me forever. Add that to the work you do. I'd be there an extra 5 hours just trying to set stuff up. For example, I'm going to pull this up here. So you show up, you set up a camera, and you do a time lapse. Is that the idea?
Yeah, George gets a bit fed up with me because he's working away, and I'm, like you just said, I'm setting up a camera for an hour. But that's these videos. They've gone absolutely viral, and I enjoy doing it. I'm not a photographer like you guys. I don't know where it come from, but I just enjoy doing it. I take a little snippet, and I've got a bit better and try to make it as good as I can, and just join them all together. And I come home and I just play with it and try and make a decent video. But like I said, I'm no expert. I really don't know why I've gone viral in some of these videos. It's just these little techniques I use here are probably different than some people use, and they just like seeing it or seeing it all they haven't seen.
This is why you're going viral, because your workers show some crack when they work. I had to go there.
No, I think
sharing.
like TikTok, like specifically, there's a lot of different types and niches of videos that work really well on TikTok, and showing people how to do things that most people don't know how to do really does well on TikTok, especially during COVID, because COVID, a lot of people picked up hobbies or things that they've always wanted to try to either improve themselves, improve their house, improve, the interior design in their place, especially during COVID. And the fact that you're showing me is like really detailed clips of the work that you do in a creative way as well really speaks to a lot of people, because you can actually see. And then there's a whole other side of TikTok as well that really like satisfying looking videos, and seeing a brick pattern laid out for a lot of people, that's a very satisfying thing to watch.
So you're talking about the OCD viewers that just love the evenness of it, and it's just
Yes.
and
Yes.
the
For
sand
me, like I'm
smoothing.
watching it and I'm like, this is like seeing the pattern complete itself as, you know, time progresses. That it just looks, it looks so good. It's satisfying to watch.
Totally.
Yeah.
I'm just confused. Where's the level? Like I sit there with a level on every brick. Level. Okay, this one's fine. Move on to the next. What's up with that? No level?
Well, because that's what I said. It's a different technique. So because the levels used when I'm getting the level of the base, the sand or the cement or what I'm using, it eliminates your time playing around with the level when you're laying them.
So level the ground first, and then.
The way I do it, yeah, it's called a screed, and that's all perfectly set at the right level, and then it's simple then because everything else is going to be level. It's going to be the correct falls for your rainwater. It's quite hard to explain, but yeah, it's just little tricks I've picked up over the time, and also you know it's doing it for the video as well. You know, you're trying to get a viral video and just do something a bit different.
You want it to look smooth. You don't want to sit there and
yeah.
Rainwater. You just reminded me of a question that I had earlier. We live in Ontario. A little different weather than you may have where you live. I noticed you guys maybe get about 2 inches of snow a year. Is there more than that?
We didn't have any this year. A couple of years ago, we had it quite bad. Last a week. We don't seem to get it like we used to when I was a kid and that. No, so we hardly get any now.
So if you were to hypothetically, you know, jump across the water and do some paving here in Ontario, would the techniques work the same?
I don't think they will, no, because I think do you get temperatures down to like minus 20 or so, do you?
20. That's 20. This guy.
Almost minus 30.
It's minus 20 right now. Area. What are you talking about?
No. It's maybe 10 degrees, but that's warm for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you're right. Minus 20, you know, a little cooler than that sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, I think like minus 27 is like
I'm not really
cold
to answer that, but I do get comments on my TikTok from Canadians saying that won't last. Not in Canada. It probably wouldn't. I don't know.
I think that's it. The salt and all that kind of crap on the roads. Yeah, that probably would be a little different. I love the look of it. And I would love to switch my driveway over to the brickwork and the patterns and stuff like that. But how do weeds work with it? Do you guys have a lot of weeds that come up over time? Or does that add to the patina of the driveway?
Well, yeah. I have to say to the customer, it's not maintenance free. Obviously, I put a weed membrane down. I do everything I can to stop the weeds. I spray each job with a joint sand stabilizer, which makes the sand go a bit hard to try and stop that. But at the end of the day, you have to. It's anything outside is not maintenance free. And I always say to the customers, you know, you don't buy a brand new car and never clean it. So basically, you can have a drive and keep it looking brand new as long as you look after it.
Yeah. I think that's the same with anything, though, isn't it? Yeah.
Everything requires maintenance.
Yep. So what's your favorite thing to do? What's your favorite? Driveways, patios? Like what job will you get? You'll be like, sweet, we get to do this week.
Well, I did a driveways. I like driveways. I'm getting older and it's all out the front. So with a driveway, you just reverse your lorry up and fill it up from there, tip everything in. With a patio, it's all wheeling around the back. So I probably prefer driveways. I did a lovely driveway this year in a new block called Bradstone Brad Drive. And I think it was that one where I was doing the round curb there. It was the end of that job. That favourite. I really like that one. It was slightly different. But yeah, I love doing driveways. And like I said, I like it when they give me a free rein, like they did on that one. I could do what I wanted to do.
Awesome. Sorry, go ahead, Aurora.
So I had a bit of a question about, the patterns that you do, because not only, the patterns are creative and different, but it does it is, I'm sure, quite a bit of a take quite a bit of measurement. I mean, after your experience over, several years of doing this, I'm sure you kind of get used to how to make a pattern like that. But how long does it take you typically to, think up a pattern when someone gives you free reign on something? Like, what is your creative process? Do you go to the place, do you visit it, see the shapes and stuff like that and come up with something? Or do you have different kinds of patterns and plans laid out ahead of time? I'd just love to hear a little bit more about that.
Well, like I said, I don't think I'm that. I go home, I scribble a few things in a pad. I try and use like modern with new looks good. The new sort of porcelain, which is like your kitchen floor tiles, looks good with old cobbles, and I love using like mixing the two materials together. You have got to be careful in case the customer, they don't want that. So I do it. I do a little drawing and just explain to them, and I say, I think this will look nice. And sometimes I just do it, off the cuff when I'm there, and change it as I go. The little diamond things I do need to at the front of drives. They do take quite a long time to cut, but I've got this a dustless masonry saw, which is really good and really quick. But I do need to come up with some new designs for the front borders of driveways, because I think a lot of people are beginning to copy that one.
That's interesting. You have to think of new designs. So you've put the stuff out on TikTok. Everybody has seen your work, and that in turn is pushing you to try and be more creative.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, because I don't want to keep posting the same old thing, and so it does put you under a bit of pressure to keep coming up with stuff. So we need to get working on something.
Is it just it's you and your daughter that does the TikTok stuff?
Well, it's just me, my son with me, helps me. Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know if you're anything like me, but TikTok is. I have all these ideas of things I want to do on TikTok. I have this idea for light painting. I've talked to Aurora about this. All these crazy things that I wanted to do. But when it comes right down to it, I post a video and I look through my phone and I try and find a cool video. I find it. I think, okay, what song would go kind of cool with this? Oh, look, it's my cat. Let's put something funny for my cat. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have this structure and this ability to sit. I might sit for an hour trying to find a photo to post. And all of a sudden, 2 hours later, I'm watching some guy pop up and say, "You've been on TikTok too long. You should put this away." You know what I mean? Like, I get so sidetracked and thrown. How do you focus to put these things out on a regular basis? Because obviously that's what's going to keep your videos getting viral views, right? You have to be consistent and so on. Like, is this something you set up until 2:00 in the morning, stressing over and I got to put a new video out, or is it being natural for you, or does it feel like you just enjoy doing it?
No, I don't sit there all night now and play on TikTok now. My wife wouldn't let me. I don't actually put that many out. I find once you have a viral one, you're probably best just to let it go for 2 or 3 weeks, because I find if you put another one on, you won't get many views. So sometimes if I get a good one, I'll just leave it for 2 or 3 weeks and I don't put a lot on. Yeah, so I've just been a bit lucky with some and they've gone mad. But no, I don't sit there all night. No, I come home on a Friday and I might have a couple of beers and I get bored and I'll just go through some old videos and I might just make a new one up. And that's what I've been doing lately, sort of like clips of lots of little bits, and they've gone quite viral.
Now, when I've made a viral video, I had one video that I called viral. I had 26,000 views. I'm looking through here, 2.6 million views. 8.6 million views. That's beyond viral. That is ridiculous.
Yeah, that's wild. Congratulations. Like,
yes,
you've had very good success on it, and like you said earlier, it's definitely brought a lot to your business. But going back to Brian's point earlier, TikTok is kind of bringing you to a different level of creativity where you're having to think of different patterns, so you're not posting a similar looking thing all the time. So I think that aspect of it is really cool too, because it's yet another thing motivating you to set, your business aside from maybe someone else's. So I think that's really awesome.
Oh, great. Yeah. It's, I'm going to have to come something soon, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
When's it all going to end? Am I just going to have to retire from TikTok? I don't know.
No, I think you've got amazing stuff. Like I know that there's people on TikTok who post the same videos that they've already posted, exact same video, but post it over again.
Or sit there watching other people's videos while they're both on TikTok.
Yeah.
Hey, look, I'm just sitting here watching this video, but I'm getting credit for it. That's just weird to me. I don't understand.
Yeah, like reaction videos.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, I mean, even if you're posting, a different driveway, similar kind of pattern or whatever it may be, that's even more different than a lot of TikTok creators out there. And I think a lot of people on the platform who are seeing your videos and watching your videos are always going to, see that you're putting effort into this stuff. So I don't think you'll have to retire off of TikTok. I think it's going to be great either way.
And you use it for what you need it for too. I think that's important.
Yeah.
Aurora and I we work at Henry's Camera here in Newmarket in Ontario, and they have a foundation for mental health, and they're always talking about do what you love and what's important, and you have to be safe with everything that you're doing. But beyond that, I forgot where I was going with this, to be honest with you. I had a whole thing I was going to compare it to, but it just totally slipped my mind. So I'm just going to edit that part out. Doesn't matter. But ultimately, sorry, go ahead, Dora.
Well, I guess on your point as well is you don't want to basically be in the way of yourself creating and making new things, and doing what you love and focusing on the things that you love, I think makes all the difference. So, social media could have potentially negative impacts on our mental health, but in a lot of ways it also does the opposite. It inspires us. It gives us new ideas, and it's amazing that you have people reaching out to you saying that they tried something different themselves and they tried your technique and it's working well for them. So that's really great that you can inspire people too.
Yeah. Right, and also social media. I mean, I've been approached by like the Pros, which is like a tool maker from Germany, probably the biggest paving tool maker, and they want me to outsell some of their stuff. So it's it opens up other avenues, which I never thought.
That's a win-win.
Yeah, I mean, I can't believe 2 years on from going on TikTok, it's opened up all these, and also my TikTok videos have gone pretty viral on some Facebook groups. I don't know if you ever heard of Lad Bible and Board Panda and stuff like that. They've asked me to show all my work on their videos and everything.
That's the way it goes. I mean, you're an influencer, right? You've influenced people. I remember what I was going to get at with the Henry's thing. They have a social media campaign called Uncaptured Moments. If you share something that you've done and you feel it's not just, hey, look at the pretty world, it's something real, you use the hashtag Uncaptured Moments. And that the stuff that you do, it's not a pretty world, but it's a very satisfying thing, as Aurora was saying. It's one of those uncaptured moments that people don't necessarily think of in the world of creativity. So I thought that parallel was kind of interesting. And before we get to our final three questions, and before Aurora has anything else to ask you, I want to do a quick throwback to the beginning of our conversation, where I started by saying how you felt that, you may not be as creative. And I'm thinking that's only because you don't put things on a wall. You don't do an art. Is that why you would say that, first off?
Well, I suppose, yeah. I mean, I've never done a podcast before. I didn't think what you guys wanted to talk to me about, but I don't know. It's just confidence and.
Well, let me help your confidence a little bit. you pay attention to contrast. You do drawings for people to show them your work. You're thinking off the cuff and making these decisions, sometimes from scratch, designing these things, right? You show up to a job site, you plan it all out. I think it's incredibly creative. When I first started in sales years ago, 1990, I started doing training from this guy named Brian Tracy. And one of the things he really opened my eyes with was when he said, we're all creative in some way. And even if you're driving your car and you get into a situation where there's a roadblock, you can think in your mind, I'm going to go this way, I'm going to go this way, and I'm going to find my way around out of this mess. That's creativity right there. So creativity comes from all different places, and I'm really happy we got an opportunity to talk with you and to, you know, share this moment with you, because I think it's awesome that you were here on our show. I can't thank you enough. And we have some questions for you. But before I get to those questions, Aurora, is there anything else you wanted to ask?
Yeah. Oh man, there's so many questions in my mind going around right now, and I just don't know how to, I guess, narrow it down. We covered your journey to, like, your career journey a little bit to, like how you got to the business that you are today and how you manage your own business. But is there something about, you know, paving and laying brick patterns and something like that that has always, or just patterns in general, that has always had an interest for you, from, you know, a younger age?
Well, when I reached 18, you know, I used to go up the local pub and that, and my local town, everyone was a block paver. There was like 6 gangs there. So there was a lot of, you know, I had a lot of friends doing it, and we stayed away together all around the country. And we was a really close bunch of lads. So it made you love it, and it made you work for each other. And, you know, I always wanted to be, I wanted to be a football player, but I wasn't good enough. But if I couldn't do that, I wanted to be the best at what I did. And I was lucky. I had a boss that took pride in his work and taught me everything he knew. And, you know, he taught me to be a perfectionist. But yeah, I do enjoy it. I enjoy working hard, and I enjoy supporting my family, basically.
Yeah, I like how you keep on giving credit to your former boss. He was
Yeah,
obviously a very good influence, and I think that is the difference maker for a lot of people. Is they have that influence, if they have that mentor. I had a guy named Dwayne Lee who helped me out a lot when I was first living on my own. Same kind of guy. He hired me to sell audio video stuff at the time, and you know I ended up living with him, and you know knew his family, and they're just amazing people. And having that kind of influence is so important to people. So I think you're also going to be that influence for people, especially with your TikTok videos. It's very cool. Is there anything else you'd like to say before we say goodbye, Craig? I know Aurora has one more thing, but
yeah.
Well, just thanks for having me on. It's been an honor.
Oh, you're very welcome. Aurora, what else did you want to say there?
I just want to speak to the fact that, you know, you're talking about you're meeting with a bunch of people who are like-minded, who do, you know, the paving and the brickwork and stuff like that, and you know, wanting to do a good job for each other and things like that. And I think that speaks to a lot of different avenues of creativity. I myself this past year have been, you know, really working hard with one of my best friends who I've known since the beginning of high school. And we're both in the same creative field. But this year we've been really like bouncing off of each other and trying to push each other to be more creative and do more creative shoots and do more for our businesses. And it just improves, when you improve yourself and improve each other, things just kind of snowball from there and keep going. And I think it's really important to have people in your life, like, you know, that group of friends of like-minded people, that mentor, the boss that taught you to do things the right way, because those kind of practices kind of, like I said, snowball from there, and it really makes a great thing. So that's awesome to hear.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I was lucky. I've got a great wife and a great family. A couple of the other lads I work with, one aren't so lucky. You know, a couple of them have died now, and they just took the wrong route because, you know, the sort of work we was in, we was staying away with a group of lads, and they used to drink a lot. My wife wouldn't let me do that, so I'm lucky I had a strong family.
A good wife. Can't say enough for a good wife. Shout outs to my wife, Shelly. She's not here right now, but absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So let me ask you a few questions. You know of one of them. So we'll start off with the one question, but at the end of every show, we have 3 questions. I don't know if you, I do research on people. For example, before we did this show, I did the Google Maps and I saw across the street from your place, there's a whole bunch of solar panels. Is that a huge solar field that you have next to you?
Yeah. You can.
Do you draw energy from that, or is that somebody else's?
We don't draw energy from it. No.
Fuckers.
Just
Holding the sun.
They're popping up everywhere. Yeah. So
yeah, everywhere. There's so much.
Yeah, I mean,
all right.
That's where I am. Yeah, but I don't get no power from that. No.
All right. Sorry. See what I mean? Like I do research. So I don't know if you did any research on our show, but at the end of every episode, we have 3 questions that we talk to people about. One is your challenge that you would like to issue our listeners. So why don't we start off with that? Do you have something you'd like to, I don't know if you remember what you said in the email.
Well, I just think if anyone wants to start their own business at first, don't chase perfection. So you build your reputation, and then you can charge the big dollar because you've got that reputation. And once you've got that, people will use you. So if you're starting out a business, don't try and rush everything. You're going to make mistakes, learn, and remember, every day is a school day. You'll learn every day. So listen to people and take it in, but just try and build your reputation. Don't run around trying to make too much money at first, because you're not going to until you build that reputation up.
Every day is a school day. I love that. My Day Tripper Photo dream is to have a bus, and on the side it says Day Tripper Photo, this is our classroom. And it'll say right there next to it, from now on, it'll say every day is a school day. I love that. I'm going to steal that. Thank you.
Yeah, okay. That is an incredible piece of advice.
Yeah, right? It's so true. One of my favorite things about photography is you could never stop learning. Like you could literally spend 40 years on this discipline and then 40 years on this one and 40 years on this one. I'm sure it's the same with stonework. There's always more to learn. And to think of it as every day is a school day. I love that. I absolutely love that. All right. Second question. Tools of the trade. Now you have lots of tools, and I'm sure a tool of the trade for you may very well be one of your tools, but it doesn't have to be. A tool of the trade could be the way you think, the way you, one of our guests, actually 2 of our guests now have said their tool of the trade is their ADHD. You know, it could be anything. What would you say is a great tool of the trade that you rely on every single day you work?
Well, it's got to be my hands, I suppose. That's what I live with.
Yeah.
Probably the best tool you can have, isn't it? And use.
Yep. There you go. That's a perfect tool of the trade, especially in your line of work. All right. Okay. So for the last question we have before we let you free and get you enjoying your day again, I know it's about almost 9 o'clock there. It's so bright and sunny still.
Yeah, it's middle of summer here.
Beautiful. Beautiful. All right. Last question we have for you is a fun one. What's your jam? What song do you listen to that you can't skip past? You give it a 5-star rating. Anytime it comes on, you just have to enjoy it to the max, or you just go to every single morning. What song would be your jam?
I forgot who sings it, but it's the Australian one. Hey, you there with a sad face? Come up to my place. Let's live it up.
I love it. You're the first person to sing the song for us. I love it.
I forgot who sings it.
You know, that's good enough. I'm going to look it up just by your singing. I'm going to find out what song that is. Is the Australian group?
I think Mental. It was out of Crocodile Dundee. You're old enough to remember.
Are we talking about Men at Work?
Is it? And it's not Men at Work. It's Mental. I think the song's called Mental something. From Crocodile Dundee, the first one.
Man, you're throwing it way back to that.
That's how old I am.
We are the same age. We are literally the same age. I love that. All right. Well, thank you so much, Craig, for being with us today. I really enjoyed our conversation. I can't thank you enough. I've done it. I've said it many times. I'm sounding like an idiot now. Aurora, yes.
I just want to say thank you as well. It's been such an honor to have you on, and an honor to have you on your first podcast. Like,
Yes.
this is awesome. You're super viral on TikTok, and I'm surprised you've never been on a podcast before. So we're super happy to have you on the show. And yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, you're very welcome. All right. And for everybody else who's watching right now, click like, maybe subscribe to our channel. Tell the world that you've been listening to Expressions, the podcast, because we have a great time doing this, and we hope to be doing it for a very long time to come. And for now, we are out of here. Take care, everybody. We'll see y'all next week. Ooh.